This news exploded like lightning in broad daylight, shaking up the Korean entertainment industry and making ChaEunwoo's name suddenly at the center of public attention. A figure who has been known as the perfect face, a global brand icon, a top actor, and an idol with a clean image almost flawless, is now dragged into a narrative that makes many people hold their breath. Not a romance scandal, not a speech controversy, but a much more sensitive and layered issue. The news that the tax office is rumored to collect a very large amount of taxes, said to reach about 200 billion, with the suspicion that the taxes that should be paid are actually greater than what has been reported. Since the sentence first circulated in the digital space, the atmosphere instantly changed. Social media, which is usually filled with photos of ChaEunwoo's smile and compliments about the visuals, was suddenly filled with question marks. Netizens were torn between shock, disbelief, anger, and holding on to the belief that something was wrong in this news. ChaEunwoo's name is perched at the top of searches, not because of a new drama or an appearance at an awards show, but rather because of one phrase that comes up over and over again: taxes, billing, and fantastic numbers. What makes this issue feel even hotter is the way the news spreads. It does not appear as a cold and measured official announcement, but rather leaks, speculations, and pieces of information that ignite the public imagination. It said the tax authority conducted a review of tax liabilities related to ChaEunwoo's income activities over the past few years, especially those sourced from advertising contracts, global cooperation, and cross-border activities. In the developing narrative, it is alleged that the value of the tax collected, about 200 billion, is not the whole, but the result of an interim calculation that can still change as the clarification process. It is at this point that the public's curiosity becomes more and more. How could a celebrity with a team of professionals, a large agency, and experienced financial consultants be dragged into an issue like this? Is this purely an administrative misunderstanding, a different interpretation of tax rules, or is there something more complex behind the scenes? The question spun without a definitive answer, creating tension that continued to rise hour after hour. On the other hand, observers of the entertainment industry began to speak out in a cautious tone. They remind that the issue of taxes in South Korea is not trivial, especially for public figures with large incomes and diverse sources of income. Revenues from overseas advertising, royalties, global appearances, and exclusive contracts often have complex tax schemes. Just one difference in interpretation can lead to astonishing correction figures. In this context, the figure of hundreds of billions mentioned is not only about money, but also about reputation and public trust. However, what makes this issue feel even more dramatic is the contrast between ChaEunwoo's image and the allegations circulating. For many years, he was positioned as a symbol of perfection. Not only handsome, but also polite, humble, and almost controversy-free. Every interview, every public appearance, always exudes the impression of being safe and trustworthy. That is why, when the words tax and large collection are attached to the name, the surprise effect multiplies. Many fans flatly rejected the news, calling it slander or an exaggerated media sensation. The party close to ChaEunwoo, according to various reports, chose a calm attitude. No emotional statements, no backlash to the media. It is precisely this reticence that provokes further speculation. For some, silence is considered a reasonable legal strategy. For others, silence feels like an empty space filled by assumptions and conjectures. Every hour without official clarification feels like gasoline being poured into the fire of rumors. In the midst of the hustle and bustle, another equally interesting narrative emerges: that the collection of large amounts of taxes does not always mean an offense or deliberate intent. In many cases, tax authorities conduct periodic audits and adjustments based on the latest rules. Celebrities with high incomes are often subjected to intensive audits, not out of suspicion, but because the scale of their income is significant. However, this logic is often defeated by public emotions that are already provoked by numbers and big names. Obviously, this issue is starting to spread to the business sphere. The brand, which has been working with ChaEunwoo as the face of the campaign, is said to be closely monitoring the situation. No cancellation of the contract was announced, but industry sources cited internal discussions to anticipate any eventuality. In the world of advertising, reputation is the main currency. The slightest image crack can have a big impact on business decisions. Meanwhile, ChaEunwoo's fans are in an emotional dilemma. On the one hand, they want to defend their idol, believing that it is impossible for the figure they admire to be involved in something that harms the country. On the other hand, they also demand clarity because uncertainty hurts. Hashtags of support and requests for clarification have sprung up together, creating a unique scene in which defense and anxiety go hand in hand. The longer this issue rolls on, the clearer it becomes that the crux of the matter is not just about the 200 billion figure or the alleged that taxes should be more. The point is about transparency, trust, and how public figures deal with reputational storms. Will this end up as an administrative misunderstanding straightened out with an official clarification? Or will it develop into a long case that erodes the perfect image that has been attached to ChaEunwoo? Until now, no final conclusions can be drawn. Tax authorities are known to work with strict and closed procedures, while ChaEunwoo's party is believed to be preparing legal steps and thorough clarifications. The public was in a waiting position, vacillating between curiosity and the desire to immediately obtain certainty. To be sure, this one piece of news has changed the landscape of public conversation about ChaEunwoo. From a figure synonymous with a sweet smile and perfect visuals, he is now also associated with serious issues that touch the heart of the country's financial system. Whatever the end result, this moment will be remembered as the point at which the public learned that even the cleanest image is not immune from a storm of rumors and intense scrutiny. And that's where the greatest tension lies, in the moments of waiting before the truth is fully revealed. Will those numbers prove to be just exaggerated speculation? Or will they open a completely unexpected new chapter in ChaEunwoo's career? The public held their breath. The mobile phone screen was constantly updated, and one question hung in the air, unanswered until now. The continuation of this story feels even more suffocating, because the deeper the public waits, the more layers of emotions and speculation open up. Time went on, but the silence of the parties concerned set the stage for the public's unstoppable imagination. Every second without an official statement feels like the hands of a clock ticking louder than usual, as if counting down to one big announcement that could change everything. Behind the scenes, industry sources began to whisper that the tax review process that dragged ChaEunwoo's name was not a short process. Tax audits of public figures with a so-called global network can take months, even years, because they involve cross-border documents, multilingual contracts, as well as complex payment schemes. In this context, the figure of 200 billion in circulation is mentioned as the result of preliminary estimates that can still change drastically, both up and down, depending on the results of the final clarification. However, the public is rarely patient on technical details. All they see are big headlines, sensational snippets of sentences, and numbers that are hard to imagine. The media began vying to link this issue to the lifestyle of celebrities, dissecting every vacation photo, every luxury car, every property that ChaEunwoo had ever been associated with. All of a sudden, it is reread with suspicious glasses, as if any of its financial success must now be questioned for its source and completeness. The pressure not only stops on ChaEunwoo as an individual, but also spreads to the agency that houses him. Agencies were held accountable, questioned about artists, financial management systems, and forced to confront public opinion that began to question their professionalism. In the Korean entertainment industry, agencies are often the first shield when artists are hit with issues. This time, however, even the shield appeared to be cracked by the magnitude of the spotlight. What makes this situation even more dramatic is the timing. ChaEunwoo is at the peak of her career, with a busy schedule and major projects awaiting release. Each of his public appearances is now read more sharply. His gaze, his body gestures, even his smile were overanalyzed. Does he seem calm? Are there any signs of pressure? Little things that used to be meaningless are now the subject of long discussions on online forums.